My bad. Real quick. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit the like button. I'm not going to be here too long. Can y'all hear me now? Uncle Guns, can you hear me now? All right, cool. Right? Hit the like button. I'm not going to be here for that long. You know, we got the Pineapple Reaction Show with myself, Steve the Dean, Mr. 1950, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right? So what are we talking about? Why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to share with you a short clip, right? And then we're going to get deeper off into this. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and shout some of y'all out. Emmanuel Olajo, appreciate you. A new member of the channel, right? I got some exclusive joints, right? So go ahead and indulge yourself in that, right? So appreciate you. Uncle Guns, Unique 79, Spirit of Elijah, High Profile, Corey, was good, fam, was good. Okay, so real quick, again, let me plug the joint. Why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men. Now, before I get into that, here's my caveat, right? Here's my caveat regarding monogamy and sexual exclusivity. Now, hold on real quick. Here's my caveat. Monogamy and sexual exclusivity, they have a place in our society, right? They do have a place in our society. There are plenty of people who are monogamous, they are sexually exclusive, and they have healthy relationships, right? They have healthy relationships. But to his point, okay, it's not just men. It's not just men. Nobody is naturally monogamous. Women are not naturally monogamous, and men aren't either. Nobody is naturally monogamous. Nobody is. Nobody is, right? We were all conditioned to believe that monogamy is the preeminent choice that we all should make, right? We were conditioned to believe that our destiny is to find that one person, get married, have a family, live happily ever after, right? We were all conditioned to believe that that's the way it should go, right? But reality will show you that neither men or women are monogamous, right? Now, to your point, Psychotic American Teacher and Unique 79, to both you guys' point, right? It's been long said that it's natural for men to desire variety and that men are not monogamous, but that women are supposed to be. That's not true either, right? Now, here's the thing. This is what I want people to understand. Nah, bruh. Yeah, see, okay, all right, cool. Now, Psychotic American Teacher, look at your words. Well, from the beginning of time, polygamy was just allowed for men, never for women. Okay, I agree with you. But look at your words. You said allowed for men, meaning that since the beginning of time, men have always tried to control women's sexuality, right? So again, monogamy is not natural for either sex. But to your point, yes, it was widely accepted that men would go out there and have all this sex, but that women had to wait to be married and bear a man's kids and all that. Yes, right? That was conditioned, that was taught. But the reality of it is that neither sex is naturally monogamous, right? And the proof is all around you, right? With all this infidelity going on, cheating going on, both men and women cheat, right? Now, there's this debate that women cheat more than men, depending on who you're asking. And then, of course, women say that men cheat more than women, but it depends on who you're asking, right? And we're going to get to the clip in a moment, but I just want to get this off my chest. so that way we can get into it, right? Again, when I talk about sexual exclusivity, right? So if you pay attention to the thumbnail, I talk about sexual exclusivity being an illusion, right? And the reason why I personally believe, right, sexual exclusivity is an illusion is because you can't prove it. You can't prove fidelity. You can't prove sexual loyalty. You can't prove it. Now, you can have a strong opinion or a strong belief that your significant other is being faithful, right? You can believe that, right? You can pray for it. You can hope for it, right? But there is no proof, right, that somebody is capable of being faithful. And there is no proof, right, that someone has been faithful for a year, 5 years, 10 years. There's no proof out there, right? Only the assumption of it, which is cool. That's fine, right? That's why I say sexual exclusivity is an illusion, simply because you can't prove it. Now, are there men out here who only want one woman and they're faithful men? Yes, those men are out here. Are there women out here who only want to be with one man at a time, sexually, and they're capable of being faithful? Yes, those women are out here. But here's the thing. When you're out here dating and getting into relationships and possibly even marriages, you don't really know if the person you're with is that person. Now, you might have the belief, you might have the feeling that, yes, I got the right person. But when it's all said and done, you never really know, right? Again, why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men. Here's the reality. And again, if you guys have a question, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question. So Uncle Gunn says, conditioned by weak males that could not obtain multiple wives, jealous haters that changed the laws and made it taboo in society. Okay. All right. We're going to get a little more into that. So Unique says, to be honest, Kazak, I'm 20. I'm at a stage now where I can do variety, or I can do just one woman who will show me deference, humble submission, and respect. Shout out to you for that work. So me personally, I can't do monogamy anymore, right? I've done it, right? I've actually been in relationships where I didn't fuck nobody else but the woman that I was with, right? But the majority of the relationships I had, I was cheating, right? But what I realized about myself is that I can be monogamous in spurts, right? I can be monogamous in spurts, right? I'm not made to be in a long-term relationship for 10, 15, 20 years and have sex with only one woman. I can't do it. And I know I can't. I've always known since I was a teenager that I was never going to be one of those guys, right? But what I did was, when I got into relationships and got married and all of that, I fought against my nature, my personal nature. Okay, not necessarily the nature of men or a man. I fought against my personal nature, believing I think I could do it. I think I could pull it off. And for a while, yeah, I could. But when it was all said and done, I realized that monogamy isn't for me, right? It's just not for me. I prefer variety, but it's not just sexual. See, a lot of people, when they think about poly relationships, open relationships, variety, they always just look at the sex part of it. Now, sex is part of it, so I'm not even going to front. But it's more to it than just that. It's a lot more to it than just that, right? So hold on. He says right here, but if you look at a lot of logically, if there's one man on earth and a bunch of women, that one man can populate the earth within a week. He can get them all pregnant. The other way isn't possible. Bro, your statement or comment has nothing to do with the fact that monogamy isn't natural for either sex. See, this is the problem. This is the problem with guys, right? This is what y'all try and do, right? And this ain't nothing personal, psychotic American teacher. This is what guys try and do, and this is the mistake that guys make. When when guys have a philosophy or an ideology as to how they view sex when it comes to men and women, a lot of you guys, you try to apply logic to your argument. Okay, now follow me here. You try to apply logic like you're doing. You said logically. Here is the problem with that. Here's the fundamental flaw with trying to apply logic to that argument. Sexual attraction is not logical. Sexual attraction is not logical. In fact, being attracted to anything is predicated on how you feel about something. So when you throw emotions and feelings in there, already you're dealing with illogical human beings. Anytime you factor in emotions and feelings, okay, you're dealing with illogical people, right? Sexual attraction is not logical. So having a debate or a spirited conversation about monogamy or non-monogamy and whether it's natural or not for men or women, you can't really have a logical debate because you're talking about something that's not logical. Sexual attraction is illogical, right? Meaning this, both men and women have sex with people they should not be having sex with all the time. All the time. Both men and women engage in casual sex encounters all the time with people they should not be having sex with. But the reason why they're having sex with them is because they sexually desire that person. They're not looking at it from the logical perspective of, you know, this person is a horrible person. This man got fucking 12 kids by 8 women, right? You would think that, why would a woman want to have sex with a man that got a bunch of kids by a bunch of different women, right? Logically, you would ask yourself, why would she want to do that? Well, her desire to want to fuck him has nothing to do with logic. It's a feeling that she has. And if it just so happens that she is sexually attracted to that man enough, she's going to be overcome by that desire and sex is going to happen. So you can't really use logic with that, right? I mean, you can attempt to, but the proof is all around you that using logic doesn't work, right? It just doesn't. So let's go ahead and get into this clip. Again, what are we talking about? Why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men. Now, again, guys, I'm not going to be here that long. We got the Pineapple Reaction Show in a bit. If you have a question, it would behoove you to put a Q in the chat, followed by your question, so we can get off into this. But let me go ahead and kill the music. Okay. And let me go ahead and cue this video, and let's get into it. Peep game.
If that same grace when she says, I don't necessarily owe you my body. Yes, sex is needed in a relationship between a man and a woman. Men can say, you just said earlier, what if a man says, I don't want it? Well, I guess he doesn't want it. I can give you that grace. But when you go around here and you become possessive over what you think belongs to you, then I need to start picking out what I think belongs to me, because my body is not yours. So yeah, I can give you sex because that is an agreement. We've agreed to give each other love, sex, commitment. But give me grace if I fall short, and I will do the same for you. But if I can't have grace and I need to suck your dick and f you every day, then I need them bags. Money. Give me money.
Where do I begin? So let's start from the back and work our way to the front. She said, if I got to suck your dick every day and fuck you every day, I need them bags. I need money. Let me tell you the flaw with that. Okay, and I want both men and women. And if there are any women listening, some of y'all be listening, y'all flies on the wall, feel free to participate, whether you agree, disagree, or whatever. Here is the problem with what she said. Okay, and I want guys to feel me on this. Right? Feel me on this. I'm going to paint a scenario for you, right? I'm a single man, right? I'm a single man. I'm chilling. I'm having sex with multiple women, right? So I'm having the types of sex that I like, all the freaky, nasty, kinky shit I like, I got multiple women that I'm doing these things with. Not only that, but I'm having sex at the frequency that I like, whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it may be. I'm having it my way when it comes to having sex with the women I'm attracted to and the types of sex that I like at the frequency that I like. So why would I trade that in for one woman who is going to ration pussy to me? Right? Because what she was talking about at the end of her diatribe, she was talking about rationing sex, and then she was talking about bartering sex, right? If you remember the word barter, going way back in the days before there was any real currency, right? People bartered. They traded this for that. Okay, you got some spices, I got some furs. Let's trade, right? She's talking about bartering pussy. Oh, if you want access to me sexually and you want to have sex whenever you want, I'm going to need for you to break me off some money. So now what she's essentially saying is, I'm going to change my relationship into a trick hole dynamic where a man has to financially compensate me to fuck me. Wait a minute. Hold on. So if we are in a monogamous relationship where I'm being sexually exclusive, meaning I'm not fucking nobody else but you. So wait a minute. So the frequency of sex that I like, if I'm just with you and only you, I gotta sacrifice. Because if she's telling me I only like to fuck 2 or 3 days a week, but if I like to fuck 5 days a week, she's telling me, oh, if you want them extra 2 or 3 days, you gotta break me off. I'm not doing that. That's not gonna happen. So when I say why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men, that's not a good trade-off. Because now what guys have to understand, if you had a very active sex life before getting into a relationship, now what you have is a woman who literally has the capabilities of controlling your sex life. Are y'all hearing me? She has the capability of controlling your sex life. So I want guys to understand something. Imagine you are in a long-term monogamous relationship where you are sexually exclusive. There's the expectation you're going to be sexually exclusive. And you spend more time jacking off because your woman ain't fucking you, at least not at the frequency you desire. You spend more time jacking off than your woman actually fucking you or sucking you. There's something very wrong with that picture. Now, two things can be true at the same time. Although you are in a relationship, that woman's body is not yours. I mean, we can get all cute doing sex and you can be like, whose pussy is this? And she might say, yours, daddy. Right? Or you might tell a chick, hey, girl, come over here and get on your dick. Get on your dick. Right? And women like to hear that shit too. Girl, come over here and get on your dick. Oh, my dick? Yeah, your dick. Yeah, come and get on it. That's all cute when you're in the moments of pleasure and sex and all of that. But the reality of it is, that's not your pussy, that's hers. The reality of it is, that's not her dick, that's your dick. Meaning, you can share your shit with who you want to share it with. And she can share her shit with who she wants to share it with. Now, again, if you are in a monogamous oriented relationship where sexual exclusivity is expected, then you got a problem if you step outside of that contract and it gets found out later that you didn't broke the contract. Now you got issues and drama in your situation, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Okay, here's the thing. This is what women got to understand. If you want a man, assuming that he wants to be sexually exclusive, and see, there's this little phrase called free will. Free will. The problem with monogamy, right? The problem why you have all this cheating going on. Look, let me tell y'all something. In the Philippines and in the state of Michigan, here in America, I don't know if any other country or state has these laws, but the Philippines and Michigan, if you're married and your spouse or significant other, if they can prove that you were unfaithful in that marriage, you can go to jail. In the Philippines and the state of Michigan, look it up. In Michigan and in the Philippines, you can go to jail. Now, I want guys to wrap their mind around that. So if monogamy is natural, right? Why would people be threatened with jail time for fucking other people? If it was natural, people would just do it if it were natural, right? So essentially what's happening is people are being obligated to be monogamous. Now stay with that word. Obligated. Obligated. That means it's not free will anymore. It's not your choice anymore. You're obligated to only fuck one person and one person only for as long as the relationship lasts. And that's the fundamental flaw with monogamy, is that you have a lot of people, both men and women, who are in obligated monogamous relationships. Zach, can you expound upon that a little bit more? You guys have seen video clips or audios. Shout out to Unique 79. He sent me some audios of him and another young lady where she essentially told him, if you're going to be having sex with me, I don't want you to have sex with nobody else. Is that not her obligating him to be sexually exclusive? It's an obligation. It's an obligation. So this is what happens. See, people don't understand the power of suggestion. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that. When it comes to obligation, both men and women, if they are dating somebody that they really like, that they care for immensely, if that person obligates them to sexual exclusivity, what's going to happen in most cases? That person has a choice. If I'm not sexually exclusive with them, I don't get the relationship. I don't get to be in a relationship. I don't get to be married to that person. If I acquiesce and I agree to sexual exclusivity, then I get the relationship. Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Now, some people just lie from the very beginning. You know, they've been having sex with people the whole time, right? So even when they get into these sexual exclusive relationships, they were never sexually exclusive. They were fucking someone else the whole time, right? Now, for other people, now, see where I'm going with this. There are other people who, in the beginning, they agree to those terms. Obligated monogamy, obligated sexual exclusivity. They agree to it on the strength of how they feel right now. See, right now, you know, things are going well. The sex is great. They really enjoy the other person. They really care about the other person. So in that moment, they feel like, I don't want nobody else. In that moment, they feel that way. I'm guilty of this. Listen to me. In the moment, I don't want nobody else. 6 months later, I don't quite feel the same. A year later, 2 years later, maybe 3 years later, maybe, I don't quite feel the same way that I did. Right? Like, I don't know. I'm kind of yearning for some variety right about now. Right? So what do? Do I stay faithful? Although I don't want to. So I'm literally fighting to stay faithful. right? I'm fighting my urges, right? This is where people shame you with the words discipline and all this other type of shit, right? And that's just really shaming language, right? It's not even about discipline, right? What it's really about is you're fighting your nature, right? You lied to yourself, right? You told yourself you could do this thing. But as time passed on by, you realize I can't do this thing. So it's not that you're being undisciplined, it's that you're giving in to your nature, right? You're giving in to your nature. So again, when we talk about why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men, it's because you desire variety. But it's not just about sex. Follow me. Follow me. Hold on real quick. Again, guys, if y'all got a question, I would strongly suggest you put a Q in the chat followed by your question, because I'm about to get up out of here in a little bit. Right? So when I say variety is not just about sex, about a year and a half ago, right, I was getting some work done on my car, right? So I was catching Ubers and shit. And I would always get mainly female Uber drivers. And for whatever reason, almost every single female Uber driver I got, we always ended up talking about sexual dynamics in relationships. Almost every last one of them. Almost every fucking time. I don't know how we got on the subject about sex and sexual dynamics, dating and relationships, but we ended up talking about it. There was one particular female Uber driver that I had, and we got to talking about relationships. And she was telling me that she used to believe in sexual exclusivity. She used to do the monogamy thing. But then she realized that it wasn't her cup of tea. It wasn't her cup of tea, right? So we got to talking a little bit more, and she reveals to me that one of her exes, or some guy she used to deal with, was hitting her up, right? He wanted to come back, right? And she told him straight up. She said, look, we can get together and, we can do whatever, but understand, you're going to be sharing me, right? And she, unique. She hit him with my shit, right? She hit him with my shit. Understand, you're going to be sharing me. She told him, I'm not the same girl I used to be, right? I'm poly now. So if you're going to fuck with me, you need to fuck with me with the understanding that that's the way I'm moving now, right? So we got to talking a little bit more. And she tells me that she's a part of this social circle where everybody in that social circle is poly. Everybody in that social circle is poly. Now, let me be clear, because she was clear. They were not all fucking each other. It wasn't like she's part of this poly social circle and they're having these group sex meetings. Nah, she made it clear that it wasn't like that. They were just poly people and all that other type of shit, right? So she's telling me there was one particular guy in that social circle that she was initially sexually attracted to, right? And, they had some conversations talking about the possibility of linking up for sex. But after they talked for a little bit, she realized, I don't want to have sex with him now. But I like him. He's a cool dude. Now, follow me here, right? I'm trying to make a point. When I talk about variety, it's not all about sex. So her and the guy came to a mutual decision or conclusion that sex wasn't going to happen. But they had something in common that nobody else they personally knew had in common. They both like horror movies. They were both avid horror movie watchers, right? So he didn't know anybody else in his life that was into that shit. And she didn't know anybody else in her life that was into that shit. So they had that commonality, the ties that bind, right? So they decided, okay, we're not going to fuck, but we can get together and we can watch horror movies. We can set up horror movie night, maybe one day a week, get together and just chill, get some popcorn, get some food, and watch this motherfucking horror movie together, right? So they developed a bond strictly based on that. Had nothing to do with sex, right? At least that's what she told me. I don't know. I didn't know her that well. This is what she told me, right? So my point is this, right? Even for myself, right? When I talk about, when I'm dealing with multiple women, it's not just about sex, right? This woman over here, I'll call her woman A. Woman A, she might be the type of chick I like to do shit with. Like, I really like Shorty, right? I like her personality. We click, we get along very, very well. So I like doing shit with her. Okay, chick B, outside of sex, we don't really click like that. But we're both immensely sexually attracted to each other. We lust each other even, right? So the sex is hot, it's great, it's wonderful, but outside of sex, we really don't have a connection, right? So when I talk about why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men, because here's the thing, and here's another thing, right? In most monogamous relationships, whether it be a man or a woman, most individuals in a monogamous relationship, they don't want you having contact with someone of the opposite sex. So not only is your sex life being controlled, but your social life is being controlled. I can't do that. I can't do that because I refuse to have a situation where a chick is like, who the fuck are you talking to? Hey, I called you last night. I bet you was fucking another bitch. You going to the movies with who? You're going to movies with this bitch? Oh, hell no. You see that? I can't have none of that. No. Gentlemen, I'm a man with options. Why should I have to circumvent or sacrifice my sex life and my social life because I got a woman here that says, you're committed to me. We're in a monogamous relationship, right? You're sexually exclusive to me. You shouldn't be talking to no other woman, dealing with no other woman, kicking it with no other woman. You shouldn't be doing nothing. Hell no. I cannot sign up for that. I can't do it. And here's the shaming language that people will use. Well, if you really love that person and cared for that person, you would do that. Well, here's the problem, though. Yeah, if I love that person and I care for that person more than I love myself, I would do that shit. But see, I love myself and I care for myself more than I could ever care or love a woman, or more than a woman could ever care or love me. So why would I take parts of my life and get rid of it and just delete parts of who I am? So that way, this woman right here feels like, I feel secure now. My insecurities are at ease, right? There's a clip, this black lady, she's popular, in social media. And she was mainly talking to women, right? But this applies to both men and women. She was talking about women expecting men to secure their insecurities, right? She was talking about women looking for men to secure their insecurities, right? So whenever you see people posting shit like, I overthink, I need someone to reassure me. Now, people, I just said, I'm an overthinker. I need a man who can reassure me. Essentially, what she's saying is, I'm insecure. I'm always going to think I'm not the only one. So I need for you to reassure me and prove to me that I'm the only one. I don't know if guys realize how burdensome that can become, right? And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Again, in our society, monogamy and sexual exclusivity has its place, but it needs to be free will. It needs to be free will, where the man and a woman, neither one of them desire to fuck anybody else. They just want to be with each other, and that's it. It can't be a situation where the man and a woman, they know that other person is dating other people, and you want to cut out everybody else and it just be you, right? This is why, hold on, let me get to this real quick. A shout out to Eda Realist with the $9.99 super sticker, right? So for me personally, right? For me personally, right? It should never be a point where you're doing something out of obligation. Well, if I don't do it, then they're going to think I don't care about them, right? Or her feelings are going to be hurt, right? And you have guys that make this type of decision, right? And real quick, I don't know if y'all recall, a few weeks back, and I forget who did the live stream. I don't know if it was Steve and Lucario or Steve and Steve and Lucario or Miles and Lucario. I don't recall who it was, but there was a guy who called in to their live stream, and he was in that predicament where he was in a relationship. No, he wasn't even in a relationship. He was dating this woman, and this woman told him, if you want to be with me, if you want to continue to have access to me sexually, there can be no other woman. It can only be me. We have to be in a monogamous, sexually exclusive relationship, right? And this guy, he admitted that he did not want to do that. But because he coveted the woman so much and he didn't want to lose her, he agreed reluctantly, begrudgingly. He agreed to do this. So he gets into this relationship that was sexually exclusive, allegedly, only to find out later on that the woman was cheating on him. Right? He found out later on that the woman was cheating. So then he started cheating. So now you have these two lying ass, toxic individuals lying and cheating on each other. Right? So, she would cheat, he'll find out. He would cheat, she'll find out. The whole time they're still staying together in this bullshit ass relationship, right? Because to me it's bullshit, right? It doesn't even make no sense to even stay in that type of situation, right? But what ended up happening was, right? Look, now follow me here. So what ended up happening was, at some point, she told him, you know what? Since I'm fucking other people and you're fucking other people, instead of us just lying about it, how about we get into an open relationship? So he agrees to this shit. Now, I need y'all to follow me. He followed her lead, right? He allowed her to dictate to him and obligate him to a monogamous relationship, only for her to be cheating. And then months later, years later, or whatever it was, now she is reestablishing the terms and conditions, and she is telling him, hey, you know what? You remember that monogamous relationship I said I wanted? Clearly, I really didn't want that shit because I'm fucking other niggas. So since I like a variety of dick, let's just go ahead and open this thing up. So he's following her again down that road of open relationship. Number one, the red flag, guys. Listen to me. For all you men, there is nothing wrong with being in a monogamous, sexually exclusive relationship if in your heart of hearts, that's what you really want. If that's what you want. Right? What I'm telling you is, don't get into a monogamous relationship out of obligation, or because you feel like you're going to lose the woman, or you feel like you can't have the woman, right? Yeah. Hey, never say never. Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. When it came to relationships, right? Once I kind of matured and I stopped living a lie, and I got to the point where I was more straight up with women, I started just telling chicks, look, let me tell you something. And I'm talking about relationships. I would tell the chick straight up, I'm not going to promise monogamy to you. And I told him I would be lying to you if I told you you were going to be the last chick I fucked. I said, I'll be lying to you if I tell you I might not want to fuck another chick at some point. I'll be lying to you. I can't promise monogamy. So if you're going to fuck with me, understand, I'm not promising monogamy. I can't do it. Right? To his point, never say never. Now, here's the thing. I could be in a relationship for 2 or 3 years and maybe not fuck nobody else. Maybe. But the reason why, if that were to happen, the reason why I'm not fucking nobody else for that year or 2 or whatever it is, it's not because I'm obligated to only fuck that one person. It's because I'm good right now. I'm straight right now. Right? I'm good. Now, like he said, never say never. At any given moment, I might come across a woman and I might be like, you know what? I haven't really thought about fucking nobody else for the better part of the year, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right about now. But at least the woman knows that I'm with. She knows that, hey, I already told you that I would never promise monogamy or sexual exclusivity to you because I can't keep that promise. I'll be lying to you and myself. Right? So he goes, Unique 79 goes on to say, here's like 20. Do you agree that red pill are trying to shame and suppress women from wanting variety in men? Especially when they say it should be open on the man's end and closed for the woman. See, and right there, right? See, that's unrealistic, okay? Now, here's the thing. I don't want to lie to y'all. Is it possible for you to get into a situation with a woman, a relationship, where she knows you're having sex with other women, but she desires not to have sex with other men? Is it possible for that to happen? I'll say it's probable. I'll use the word probable. Is it probable for that to happen? Yes. But here's the thing, though. The only way that will happen is if you gave her free will to make that decision for herself. But if you go to a woman and tell her, hey, I'm going to be fucking other chicks, but I don't want you fucking other men, it ain't going to work the way you think it's going to work. Because now you're obligating her to something. No. She has to want to do that on her own. Right? It has to be in her heart to do that. Here's the thing about loyalty, real quick, right? And I want people to understand something about loyalty. Loyalty is not just about sexual exclusivity. Loyalty is much more. There's way more to loyalty than sexual exclusivity. I'll give you a prime example of what I mean. Many years ago, I was dealing with this young lady. And she told me out the gate, she said, look, I'm down to fuck with you, but our time together is going to be short. And then she went on to say, my man, the love of my life, and see, some guys can't even fathom that a woman can say the love of my life, but she still be entertaining other dick, right? But she said, the love of my life, he's in jail. He's going to be home soon. So from now until the time he comes home, I'm fucking with you. But the moment he comes home, ain't nobody tapping his pussy but him. That's what she told me. Now, whether or not there was any validity to that, I don't know. But she told me that straight up. Looked me in my eye and told me that, yeah, you can get this pussy now, but once he comes home, you and every other man gonna lose access to this, right? Regardless of whether you believe it or not, that's loyalty. Yeah, she might not be sexually loyal, but she's loyal to that dude. She's loyal to that motherfucker, right? The problem with guys is they look at loyalty strictly on the sexual aspect. Now, here's the thing about loyalty. This is what guys don't understand about loyalty. You cannot negotiate loyalty. You can't buy loyalty. You can't shame a woman into loyalty. You can't obligate women to be loyal. No, a woman has to want to be loyal. She has to want that for herself. She has to want, loyalty comes from the heart. It's something that you really want to do in your heart, right? The problem is, if both men and women are guilty of this, Well, if you loved me, you wouldn't want to fuck anybody else. That's not true. Love has nothing to do with it. Love has nothing to do with it. Right? You don't think that chick that had that man, sitting behind on bars, you don't think she loved that motherfucker? She waiting for him? Look, I'll go a step further. The mother, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to put somebody out there. let me not do that. Let me tell the story, but kind of rephrase and preface it this way. A woman I used to be involved with, her sister was in a relationship with this guy. And I believe they were like 16 years old at the time, right? This guy, he ended up doing a drive-by with an AK-47. And he shot up this mobile home. And he ended up deleting this little 7-year-old girl, right? So he was 16 at the time that this happened. So he ended up going to prison. They gave him 50 years. He got 50 years. And the only reason he didn't get life without parole or the death penalty was because he was a minor when he committed the offense. He got 50 years, mind you. They were 16 when this happened. And I knew this guy. Me and this guy, we was cool. I knew he was younger than me. A few years younger than me at the time, right? But I knew this guy, right? Been to his family's house and all of that, right? Now, while he was in prison, they got married. Now, see where I'm going with this. 50 years. He's out now, right? He got out years ago. He's in his 40s. So he might have done like 30 of those 50 years, right? He did like 30 something of those 50 years, but he got out, right? So his kids that he had with her, because when he committed the offense, him and his girl, they had already had a baby. And while because he went to jail, he got bailed out awaiting trial. So while they were awaiting trial, she got pregnant again. Boom. So his 2 kids, his wife, his family, he gets out. His 2 kids are intact. His wife is there. So he got out and went home to his wife, right? Tell me that ain't loyalty. Tell me that shit ain't loyalty. She waited 30 years. Now, at the time when she married him, she didn't know how many years of the 50 he was going to do. Right? Come on, man. Like, this is why when I hear guys talk on the internet, I'm like, bro, I live life for real. I done seen some shit, right? So, yeah, see, here's the thing about suppressing, because women have the penchant to want variety too, right? If you don't believe me, go to Reddit. Go to Reddit and look at some of those pages where women talk about that. Where women talk about their strong desire, right? For variety. But it's not just, now sex is a part of it, right? But it's not just the sex, right? I'll give you, there was a show on either HBO or Showtime. And I don't think it's planned at this point, but you can Google it. The show was called She's Gotta Have It, right? And I talked about this before. Back in the late 80s, Spike Lee did a movie by the same name, She's Gotta Have It, right? And basically it was about a woman that was dating like 4 or 5 guys at the same time. And she was having sex with all of them. But there were unique things that she liked about every single guy, sexually and non-sexually. So people would always ask her, so when are you going to get serious about dating and pick one of those guys? And she was like, why would I do that? Because each of these guys are uniquely different. So if I pick one guy, there is no way I can get all of the things I get sexually now and all of the things I get non-sexually from one guy. One guy can't give me all of these things I've become accustomed to. So why would I pick one? Okay, you can run it in reverse. A man can say the same thing. One woman can't give me all of this shit. So why would I pick one? I'll be doing myself a disservice to do that. Right? So, but here's the thing. Okay. And I made a video about this on my old channel. I'm going to do a new video. Matter of fact, that might be the next video that I do, where I talk about sexual attraction is not a faucet. Sexual attraction is not a faucet. And when you think about a faucet, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. What some women and some men don't understand, like most people get it, but some people don't understand, is that just because somebody is in a relationship with you, even if they're faithful, even if they are faithful to you, that doesn't mean they don't get sexually tempted by other people. That doesn't mean they won't be sexually attracted to other people, right? Shout out to EO, Everett Overton. I hope that brother's doing well. I haven't hollered at him in a minute, probably been about a year or so. But shout out to Everett Overton, right? I know some of y'all fuck with EO, right? And you should, you know what I'm saying? The brother know what he's talking about. But I remember a few years ago, probably about 4 years ago, right? It's been a minute. And I made a video talking about this, but it was on my old channel, so that video is gone. So I might do a new video talking about it. So EO told a story. He was doing a live stream, and it prompted me to do a video. Shout out EO, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I have no ill will or harbor no ill feelings to the man, right? So he did a live stream, and he was talking about a situation where he would go get his hair styled, and the young lady who was styling his hair, right? It was a lady he had built a business rapport with. Every time he came in to style her hair, the hairdresser story, exactly, the hairdresser story, right? So he had built this working relationship with this young woman. It was nothing sexual, right? And he said he never said anything sexual to her. He never got at her sexually. But what ended up happening was he just being himself. He just being EO, just doing what he does. But he says one day he goes in to get his hairstyle, right? He goes into his weekly appointment or whatever it was. And the lady meets him at the door. His hairstylist, hairdresser, meets him at the door. And she basically tells him, I can no longer style your hair. And she gave him contact information, like a business card or something like that. And she basically said, I can no longer do your hair. I could recommend somebody else who would be perfect for you. And the reason why she did that, and she told him this, she said, I'm a married woman. I have a family, but I'm having these inappropriate thoughts about you. And I feel like I might, and I'm paraphrasing, right? Because I don't know if he said the part I'm about to say next, but he did talk about how she was having sexual inappropriate thoughts. But I'm paraphrasing the next part, where she probably felt like if I continue to see you or style your hair, I might end up acting on these thoughts I'm having, right? So here's a woman who's married. She wants to stay married. She doesn't want to cheat on her husband. So she was proactive enough to say, I can no longer be in the presence of this man because I'm sexually attracted to this man. Although he has done nothing or said nothing consciously or purposefully to get me to feel this way, I just do. And now I'm having thoughts. So what was probably happening when she was away from work, at home with her family and her man, she was probably thinking about him, probably having dreams about him, right? And she probably felt like it's interfering with me being the dutiful wife I need to be because I'm thinking these thoughts about this man that's not my husband. Now, here's the thing. When I talk about, are there women out here that won't cheat? Are there women out here that in the face of temptation, they will rebuke it and not cheat? Yes. But here's something interesting. And when EO was doing a live stream, I told EO this. I said, bro, the fact that you never purposely tried to hit on her and she was feeling those feelings, imagine if you would have actually macked on her. Imagine if you would have hit her with that mouthpiece. Imagine if you could. EO already had real estate in her mind, and he wasn't even trying to get it. But imagine if he was hitting her with the suaveness, the smoothness, the you know what I'm saying, the mouthpiece. Imagine she may have given in. Right? She may have given in, but we'll never know. Right? Shout out to the woman for saying and realizing the temptation is so strong. I feel like I might cheat on my man, and I don't want to do that. So when I say sexual attraction is not a faucet, what guys have to understand is even if you are in a loving, healthy relationship where that woman is faithful to you, now you're not going to know that she's faithful. You're not. Do you think that woman's husband knew that she had all of these thoughts about EO? No, I'm sure he didn't. Right? So you're not going to know her private thoughts when it comes to other men. You're not going to know it, right? But understand that just because a woman promises you sexual exclusivity, that doesn't mean she won't encounter a man or men where she feels like, oh, I would fuck him. Oh, he just don't know. Look, real quick, I want to say this. Back in the day, right? This is before COVID. I had a job. I worked for this mortgage company. And every now and again, we would do group outings, right? Like every quarter, we would do a group outing. Like we might go see a movie as a group. We might go to a restaurant. We might go to Dave and Buster's, something like that. Almost every single time we did that, right, people would end up carpooling, right? Because we had to come back to the campus or we had to come back to the work site. So it would not have made sense for 20, 30 people to all take their car. So a lot of people carpool. There were women who were either in relationships or marriages who refused to get into the car or a car with certain men. Like, I can't ride with him. And the reason why these women, they were honest about it, the reason why they refused to ride in a car with certain men was because, unbeknownst to these men and other people, these women were actually sexually attracted to these men. And the reason why those men didn't know it and other people didn't know it is because those women made a concerted effort not to give it away, not to say anything. So when they would have conversations with these guys, they would watch what they would say as to not give it away. They would watch the topic of conversation as to not get into certain conversations that can lead down the sexual road. Also, these women made an effort to never be alone with these guys, right? And some women said, if I end up riding in a car with just me and him, we might end up on the side of the road fucking. Like, these women said that. Like, I'm sexually attracted to him. I don't want to cheat on my man. But I think if me and him were alone and he said some shit to me, I would give in to temptation. Right? So I need guys to understand that. So as faithful as your woman might want to be, if she come across the dude that she is sexually attracted to and he got some game to him, them panties are going to slide to the side. Right? I'm just letting you know. Right? I'm just letting you know. Now, if she is like the hairdresser, right? Right? Or some of those women at work, she'll make an effort to avoid being alone with those men or being by herself. But women know. See, this is why, guys, when you hear women publicly say, oh, I found the love of my life, I don't have no eye for no other man. Bullshit. 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 Now, they might not be looking to fuck with another man. They might not necessarily have their eye out for another man. But come on now. Stop it. Sexual attraction is not a faucet. It's not a faucet. It's not a faucet. I'll do you. I got another story, and I'm about to end it with this. Let me make sure I ain't got no questions. Just to let you know how real this shit is, right? Got another story. So I got an ex, right, that I'm really cool with. And shout out to her. She's married. She's married now. I'm cool with her husband, all of that, right? So when her and her husband, when they were dating, before they got married, obviously, when they were dating, they were not sexually exclusive at this time. But she had booked a trip, and I told this story once or twice. They had booked a trip, her and one of her girlfriends, girl trip, right? See, and let me peep you out of something. When y'all hear guys talk about women and girl trips, there's a lot of insecurity with that. So I got one for you, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So her and one of her homegirls had booked a girls trip to Vegas. If y'all remember, about a year or 2 or 3 ago, there was viral videos of this black guy. He was giving very sexual massages to women, right? Very, very sexual massages, where in many cases the woman had on a thong and no bra, and it was very, very sexual, right? Very sexual, right? If y'all recall that. Does anybody recall those video clips of this guy giving women these very, very sexual massages, right? They may as well have been fucking, right? The shit was so sexual, right? I don't know if y'all recall that. But she had, no, it wasn't, well, they have them in Jamaica. But one of the guys lives in Las Vegas. So she had booked a massage with that guy. She had booked a massage with that guy, right? With one of the guys. There was multiple guys doing it, right? But there was one guy in particular who was, on IG and Twitter, now it's X, right? And there was Facebook clips of this guy. She had booked a massage with this guy. So at some point in time, when she started really, really getting close to her now husband. Now, bear in mind, they are not sexually exclusive, right? Or at least they haven't discussed it, right? They are not in a relationship. They're just still dating. So, but for her, though, once she started feeling like, I want this man to be my man, like I really want to be with him, she ended up canceling that massage. Like, this is something me and her, we was talking about this. She canceled the massage. She was like, yeah, you know what? I just don't think it's appropriate at this stage that I do that massage because, this guy, he may as well be my man because I look at him as my man and we haven't really discussed being in a relationship, but I look at him that way. So I canceled that massage out of respect for him. Now, Pete Game, he told her not to cancel it. Girl, don't worry about that, man. Get your massage, right? So, because I know her like I do, right? I said, who you fooling? Right? That's what I said. I said, who you fooling? I said, look, ain't nobody here but me and you talking. And I told her, I said, you canceled that massage because you had already thought about the prospect that it could lead to fucking. And you have already thought about the possibility of that, and you were okay with it if it led to that. And at first, she was trying to deny it. And I'm like, come on now. Who do you think you're talking to? Okay, and I broke it down. I said, so you mean to tell me if you were getting that type of massage and you weren't getting all hot and wet, and if he just happened to kind of see you were getting a little moist through your panties and he brought it to your attention, you telling me that couldn't have possibly led to sex? And then she admitted it. She said, you know what, fuck it, you're right. She said, yes, I did have the forethought that it could lead to sex, and that's why I really canceled it, because I didn't want to fuck nobody else, right? So I just want to bring that to y'all attention. Women know, like they know, right? But again, okay, I'm giving you scenarios where women admitted or alluded to the fact that they actually viewed another man sexually, but they decided not to make certain decisions where that temptation became unbearable, right? So I just want to point that out to y'all. Like the video, right? I'm going to finish with this question, though. Unique says, do you know many women have a desirable thoughts? Let me back up. Do you know many women had have had desirable thoughts about men, but didn't say anything because these women did not want to ruin their relationships and marriages. It is astronomical. Bro, women have private thoughts all the time about a lot of freaky shit all the time. All the time. I got a twin brother. Do y'all not think that some of the women I was actually in a relationship with didn't wonder or maybe even have a fantasy about, I wonder what it would be like to be with his brother. I wonder what it would be like to fuck both of them at the same time. I told you guys there was a chick I had sex with, and she tried to hint at that, right? And not only that, but when we were teenagers, there were many times where my twin dealt with a girl, and then later on, she's fucking with me. And there were times where I dealt with a girl first, and then later on, she's fucking with him. That happened all the time when we were teenagers. All right? And I got a third brother. I got another brother. I got 3 brothers altogether. But my twin and I, and my brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, so when we were seniors in high school, he was a junior. There were times where women dealt with all 3 of us. Not at the same time. Well, I digress. Because there was one time where me and my brother, the one who's a year and a half younger than me, where we met some chicks and some shit went down and, switch, what I'm saying? That shit happened, right? I don't want to get too, but that shit happened. Me and my twin, we never did that. I don't know why, but me and my other brother, we did some shit, right? So, but anyway, right? So, I just want to point that out. But yeah, women have secret thoughts. They have these perverse, dark sexual desires. Yes, they do. They might not speak on it. They might not even act on it, but it's in there. It's in their mind. So he says, do you think that most men would have refused a nice massage from a hot ass chick, even though they were in a monogamous relationship? No, I don't think. Nope. And I'm not saying there is no guy that wouldn't. I personally don't know not a single man that would have said no. I don't know not a guy that would have said no. They're like, I'm getting my massage. Fuck that. I don't know not a single guy that would have said no. And most guys would have been like, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. They would have had that mentality, right? They would have had that. Now, are there guys who would have said no? I don't know, right? This is what I would say to that. If you are the type of guy that women gravitate to sexually, and you got it like that, where you have no problem obtaining casual sex encounters with women that are attractive and women that you are actually attracted to, and a woman you was getting a massage from was actually super attractive, you would have been like, she about to be another one. That's my bucket list. That's my bucket list. Right? I'm just paying for a massage. Right? But because I got a mouthpiece, I'm about to turn it into a happy ending massage. Right? So I'm just, hey, I don't, because most people would have been like, me booking this massage was part of the trip. Like, that's part of the allure of the trip. This massage was it's kind of like when you take a cruise and you get off the boat in Cozumel or Belize or the Honduras or somewhere like that. The excursions is part of the allure that is going to make the trip fun. So the massage is like the excursion. Like, no, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Let me check my bucket list. Fuck my masseuse. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right there on the massage table. I'm gonna make it happen, right? So yeah, if you got some game to you, right? You got a little mouthpiece on you. You never know. You never know what can happen. You never know. I remember real quick, and I don't know if I've ever told this story. My ex-wife and I, we went on I took her to St. Michael's, Maryland, right? I took her to St. Michael's, Maryland for like an anniversary or something. And we were getting a couples massage. 2 tables put together. And it was 2 chicks in there. One was massaging me. And I ain't had no clothes on, right? I just had the towel on, right? I ain't had no drawers on or nothing. I just had a little towel on, right? And it did not get sexual. I promise you it didn't, right? But she was massaging me, and she was like, "Oh, you're very tense." And the other lady was like, "Yeah, you know, black men have quick twitch muscles, whatever the fuck that means, right?" And she was like, "You know, let me." She was like, "Yeah, he's very tense." And the other chick was like, "You know, let me come over there. Let me see." So now they're both rubbing on me and shit. And my ex-wife, was she, you know, at the time, she's looking at the chicks like, "What are these bitches doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, feel right here. And it was kind of going down to my, you know, my midsection. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just, you know, look. And I remember thinking to myself, I wonder if I can pull off a freak fest in this motherfucking room right now. And I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, nah, you know, she's too jealous. But damn, if I could pull off a situation where me and these three chicks, I would have a story to tell. But guys, that didn't happen. See, now, because I'm non-monogamous, I would try to pull it off. I would really try to pull that shit off, right? But back then, it was like, I just had the fantasy in my head, like, it would be real cool if I just rolled over and a towel just fell off and shit just flopped out and I'm just laying there. So ladies, what are we going to do about this? So look, why monogamy and sexual exclusivity doesn't work for most men. In about 30 minutes, we're going to do the Pineapple Reaction Show. Y'all go ahead and tune in for that. I appreciate y'all coming through and fucking with me, man. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.